Hi everybody, thanks for joining me for my latest progress video, number 31. And I don't think it's going to be a long video because I don't have segments to it this week. This is it. I'm just sharing what I was able to get done. I'm quite happy to have this be, the balloon itself is a big block where I'm going to be adding quilty details to it, so that takes time. But I've also had to make sure that I've stitched things around the balloon block that are tucked under, for example, this. So I had to do that first. I've also, this week, this is one of the things I did stitch down this very pretty pink lacy ribbon trim. So it's down, which is good because it tucks under the balloon underneath, which I guess I could show you, but I wanted to show you this. I also added those 3 4-petal yo-yo flowers that I mentioned last week, and aren't they just, I love that little cluster. So I'm very happy that I've gone ahead and made a bunch of these flowers to add in different places all over the quilt when I'm further along as filler pieces. Those are the first that I've actually sewn to the quilt with their little bead centers. I haven't quite stitched this yet. I'm 99% positive that I want it there, but there's still a little voice in me that says it can wait. Who knows? Maybe there's another place that's just as lovely. Every piece on this quilt is connected to me somehow. It's bits and bobs I've saved from years to decades. Things like my house and house block and my sewing machine block and this easy peasy Dresden flower design. All of these are things that I've created in designs of quilts I've designed over the past few decades through my website. Favorite things, like I love this little sewing machine. It was a big sewing machine when I designed it for a quilt, and I've shrunk it into this little crazy quilt piece for this quilt. So or over here I've got the sewing pattern. I didn't mean to be moving this around today like this. I've got the sewing pattern and the dress form, and that was to represent where I started stitching with the little Barbie patterns. Just special treasures I've saved, my initial, everything on this quilt is connected. Fabrics I love, everything. It's definitely a me Benita quilt. I'm not making it into a pattern for you to make. If anything, I'll encourage you to make a you quilt with things that have to do with you. It's a special treasure, and I'm thrilled that it's been on my mind for a long time, and that I'm finally getting to it. So the balloon, why the balloon? Because I don't have this in any of my quilts, and that's because 20 years ago, maybe longer. I can't remember exactly when. I had the opportunity to volunteer for the local balloon group that was in my city for a summer. And what you do when you volunteer is you become part of the crew. You don't get paid. You have to get up really early in the morning to work on the morning balloon rides, and then the evening balloon rides are around 7ish at night, or where I lived it was. And so it's, not necessarily easy, but it was a lot of fun. You get trained and you work with other people to help a balloon get up in the air, and then you watch this balloon float across, and you chase it in a vehicle, and then you help it get down. It was just a lot of fun one summer. And when I had the time, my kids were older. Anyways, I also, I'm a person who's scared of heights, but what I discovered that summer is I'm scared of heights. If I have to do the climbing is precarious, and there's potential for me falling down. That's the kind of heights that I'm scared of. Climbing ladders, onto roofs, you know, some of those things I've had to tackle while living here off grid. Anyways, one day, on when I was crewing for this pilot, and that is what they're called. They actually have to train like a pilot, not an airplane pilot, but they do get pilot training. Um, the customer didn't show up, so at the very last second, he asked me if I wanted to go up, and I said yes without thinking about it because I was scared of heights, and it didn't occur to me that I might not enjoy being up in a balloon ride, but I loved it. It was so peaceful. I wasn't gonna fall. I had full faith in my pilot, and we just floated across and looked down, and dogs below could hear the hissing of the gas that keeps the balloon aloft, and they would bark, and it was such a beautiful, peaceful ride. So that's why I had to include a hot air balloon, and I just made it an old-fashioned one because that's just the kind of thing I love. All right, that's the history behind why I have a hot air balloon on my quilt. That's a bonita quilt. Okay, what else did I want to share? Oh yes, I was going to talk about how I put these down. Stitching on a camera is not something, I need a different way to do it because the only way I can do it is up close and then the camera can't see. So if there was a way to put the camera on my forehead or my, as glasses, does anybody know if those glasses cameras do up close stitching? Because that might be something I'd look into. But anyway, so I did them off camera, but I'm going to describe how I did them. After deciding where the 4-petal flower was going to go, I came up from the bottom. I hide all my knots between the layers like on a regular quilt, and I came up right in the middle and then went back down right in the middle, and just so that I tacked it exactly where I wanted it to be. Then I came up a little, I'll show you with the beads. Beads are wide, so you can't just come up in the middle and go down in the middle. You have to give the width of a bead a chance. So I came up to the side of where the bead would be, put the thread through the bead and then down. But with beads, the trick is never to just stitch one thread through, at least 2, and in my case I did 3, because one, it holds them exactly where you want them. They don't move around. But then also because I've got the layers, I wanted it to have like a little more of a pull, so I did a 3rd, and then I tied the knot off on the back and buried it. So just as with the real regular quilt. Okay, that's how I did those. I don't think I have any other tricks I need to share with you this week. No. I'll explain the music when I get to that one. All right. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for checking in. I hope you get to do some happy stitching this week, and I will share some more next week. Bye.